The Connection Show. Inspiring hope, health, healing, connecting the dots of your story and transforming your life. Sponsored by Braveheart Workshops, live with Jill Reynolds.
Well, welcome to The Connection Show, where we inspire hope, health, and healing around the world. And joining me today from Branson is my good friend. I call her Cindy. She goes by Cindy or Cynthia Thomas. Welcome to the show, Cindy.
Thank you.
Well, I have the background pretending like I'm at the ocean just because I've been working so hard. I haven't had time to relax. So this makes me feel like I'm out there in the beautiful sea breeze. Anyway, well, we have a great thing coming to Branson, Missouri, a conference. It's a girls and women's conference called Resilient Bravehearts. I'd love to show you the flyer. And Cindy is going to be one of our speakers where she'll be sharing her story of overcoming loss and grief and stages of grief for those of you who have gone through any of this year. I'd like to have you learn a little bit more about the conference now, so listen in.
From the beginning of time, God has commissioned women from around the world to mentor, encourage, teach and train tweens, teens, college students, and young women to be courageous and fearless women of God. In 2023, Queen Esther's need to rise up to save our nation and the generations to come. Receiving a crown of beauty for ashes, God has called older women to teach younger women that they are good enough and are wanted by a king who wants them to arise as resilient Queen Esthers and to live wisely, purely, and be good. Join us for 2 days at Yakov Theater in Branson, Missouri on Saturday, August 19th, 2023 and Sunday, August 20th, 2023 for Resilient Bravehearts Women Conference. For such a time as this, come in a day early to see Esther at Sight and Sound Theater.
Hi, I'm Jill Reynolds with Resilient Braveheart. For such a time as this, coming to Branson, Missouri, August 19th to 20th, 2023. We will be meeting at Yakov's Theater, and I'm so excited for the event. No longer broken and becoming the best you will be joining us at this event. It's for all women of all ages, from 12 years old to 100. You don't want to miss this event. Come to Branson and be with us for this amazing weekend of hope, health, and healing.
Register now by going to braveheartworkshops.com.
Well, we are really excited for everybody to come to Branson for this amazing event. And Cindy, what we'd love everybody to know a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then share with us a little bit of why you decided to want to speak at this event.
Okay, well, I didn't come to Branson intending to have any kind of platform. I came to Branson to be closer to Harrison, Arkansas, because that's where my father's home was. And he had suffered a fall, needed more help, and I was the only one left to do it. That said, when I quit my job in Springfield, where I worked for the Assemblies of God for several years, I all of a sudden had no money. And so I started doing freelance writing for several entities, including the Assemblies of God, a couple of devotional publications, and then stumbled onto hearing that the Branson Globe needed another freelancer. And that was about the time all the COVID restrictions were in place. All the news was bad. And I just started seeing the Branson Globe as a way that I could contribute in a positive way. I write a devotional column. I try to get to a lot of the activities of the ministries in town and the veterans and so on. And my husband is a school teacher, so I try to stay up on what's going on with some of the schools. And so that's kind of how I got involved in Branson. And then, of course, the journey continued with my father's passing and some other family events going on that were sad and did cause some grief and loss in my life. And so that's kind of where I am now with that.
Well, and that's where I think God's leading you into somewhat of a ministry of sharing more about the stages of grief and overcoming it and getting through that, because I think there's been so much loss in the last couple of years with COVID. You know, if it's not loss of loved ones through death, it's the disconnection too, which brings
Yes,
on loss.
exactly. And I think we miss that more than we realize because we have subtly learned to cope in other ways that are not as fulfilling as personal connection.
Yeah. So speak on that of why then would you come to a conference like this? What would inspire someone to come to a Resilient Bravehearts conference?
I think for some women, it's been a while since they've been able to get to a conference with other women where they felt comfortable sharing, comfortable being themselves, partly because of COVID and partly because life just happens and we get busy. So it's one of those things that you may not realize that you miss it until you actually get there and realize, oh my, this is something that I've missed. And so I went to a conference about a year and a half ago where that's exactly what happened to me. A friend asked me to go to a conference and I said, well, okay. And then I was very glad that I did because I realized I had missed it. And I think there is the potential that women may not realize they've been coping in other ways until they do get to something like this and start connecting and start realizing, oh, I'm not the only one that went through some major stuff lately. So,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you know, when God told us to do this event in Branson, I feel like He handpicked, Cindy, the dates of August the 19th and 20th because it's right at that time that children are getting back to school for the 2023-2024 school year. And so, an event like this, which we are going to be having topics like Cindy will be talking on overcoming loss, Sarah Forsyth will be talking about pursuing faith, Mandy Farrow of Tri Lakes will be talking on finding hope. There's going to be a lady, Dr. Marina Hoffman, speaking about overcoming anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Brenda Ringwood will be speaking about becoming the best you can be after she had been incarcerated from a bad business decision that took place. Dee Forbes will be speaking on no longer being broken after becoming a crack cocaine addict. I'll be speaking on resiliency and being wanted for those who have ever felt not good enough. And Dr. Brittany Wright will be speaking on health, nutrition, and overcoming body image issues. So those are a few of the topics that will be addressed. And so with young girls, this is for girls 12 years old up to 100. And in Titus, it talks about mentorship. If you want to just share, in your opinion, why is it so important in today's world for older women to mentor these younger girls, Cindy?
I think sometimes older women remember simpler times, less complicated times. I was raised by World War II, Korea era parents and veterans. Some of the values and in Branson, we're very blessed that we have a lot of veterans and military speaking into our community. And I just think that as people who have been around the block a few times, have made some bad choices and had to deal with them. We've had some things thrown at us that we did not expect. And we can't tell younger women and girls exactly how to handle some of these challenges, but we can tell them some general principles that we've learned. Now, being married to a school teacher, I see things happening at school that were challenges when I was in school, but in a different way because of the social media, the technology, the different ways that things are presented. And I feel like women my age can still speak into that in a general way that directs these young women and teens to the source of truth, the source of absolutes. And that is, of course, the Bible and the God of the Bible and a relationship with Jesus. And as they navigate these challenges, people who have learned those things the hard way, I think it's very important for us to share our stories.
Absolutely. And I believe that story told by older women for younger women help them to live their life more wisely, purely, and to know how to do good. And and this is not at all, if I please, I hope the audience doesn't take this way like a pat on the back for me, but I remember when my son was growing up, because I was a single, never married mom, and I raised my son by myself. And I remember when he went off to a study abroad program in Europe for one semester, Cindy. I had been selling at the time copiers for a living, and I had performance points that I could cash in for gift cards. So I cashed in a year's worth of points for like $5,000 worth of Marriott gift reward cards. And I gave them as a gift to my son when he was traveling to Europe, because he was going to be living there for 4 months on an international study abroad. So I told them when you travel, when you go to travel, because the school he was going to was going to have school where you went 6 days, had 1 day off, then you went 4 days and had 3 off, and then the next week you'd have a whole week off, and it would repeat. So they had time to go travel. So I said, when you travel, make sure that you stay at 5-star resorts, really nice, beautiful resorts, and then go stay at a youth hostel. And I wanted to ingrain in him and to teach him the principles of loving those who don't have much and then embracing when you do. And it's amazing how God's worked in my son's life. He's 40. And right now, him and my grandkids and my daughter-in-law are spending, my daughter Sadie, she's 9 today, their birthday in Honduras at a missionary school doing missionary work. And he's letting his children live alongside of that because they have a very nice home in the suburbs here in Missouri. And so to take them into a third world country that has little to nothing is really a great experience for her, the kids. And Sadie is having a blast handing out stickers on her birthday to all the little Honduras children.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I really do think I brought that story up because I really do think we have such opportunities to just really play into the lives of children today with so much that we can give and serve, Cindy. And I know that you've got a heart for service too. So share what made you then say yes to this conference for yourself. Why did you say, yes, I'd like to speak?
Well, I I feel like some of the things I experienced after losing my dad, and I had left work, tried to keep him at home. COVID restrictions made it a little harder to visit him. So there were a lot of complications. But after he passed away, I I knew where he was. I knew he was no longer in pain, struggling to breathe, or annoyed that he had to be um, so physically frail. I knew all that was true. And yet things began to surface. And some of those things, and you and I have talked about this, some of those things went back, way back into childhood. And some of them were things that needed to be brought forward in order to heal. some of them were things that really helped me appreciate my dad's efforts more than I likely did as a teenager or even a younger adult. Um, and so sharing that, having those things happen to me made me realize that I'm certainly not the only person they've happened to. I think anytime there's a loss, we look back at our relationship with that person and think, oh, I could have done this, or I should have appreciated that, or I should have done this. Or sometimes there's, unfortunately for some people, a sense of relief that they're no longer having to deal with the difficulties of that person. And yet there's also that sense that some of these issues will never be resolved on this earth because that person is gone. So there are just so many complicated things that I felt like, even though mine are simpler than some people's, they're still there. And I think helping people realize that those kinds of things are there and it's okay, and you don't have to get over it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
So,
So
so,
that's
so,
why
be, so from your experiences, that is what kind of led you to say, yes, I'd love to share
yes,
my
because
story.
I think people go through this type of thing and kind of need to hear that they're not alone and that it's okay.
Absolutely. So let me show you to Cindy's bio. This is how you can reach her. It's got her Facebook page and the website of bransonglobe.com, where she is writing and sharing stories. And again, this is the thumbnail too, about girls on a bus. Get on the bus, girls from whatever city you're living in, and do a girls' getaway. How much fun would that be, right? To just grab your girlfriends from whatever city you're in. I did a little map quest, Cindy, and found that Harrison, it's like only 40 minutes from Branson. And
Right.
we've got what Fayetteville's like 2 hours, in Little Rock. And then we've got Tulsa, St. Louis, and Kansas is 4. And Chicago, Nashville, Minneapolis, Indiana is like 8. Minneapolis. So, it's a very drivable distance. And so many church groups are coming, aren't they, Cindy, to Branson to go see Queen Esther right now?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they're coming in to see it at Sight and Sound. So I would say grab your church group, come in to see Queen Esther on August 18th, and then you'll be all fired up and ready to go for the Resilient Bravehearts for Such a Time as This conference on the 19th and the 20th. So we look forward to you. Don't wait. Get your tickets today. You can go to braveheartworkshops.com, and it will give you an opportunity to meet Cindy in person and hopefully get transformed for all different things in your life. Any closing words, Cindy?
Well, I'm just looking forward to meeting people there. And I know that even though I have a few things to share, I know other people do too. I'm looking forward to hearing those.
Awesome. Well, we'll see you in Branson, everyone. And thanks so much, Cindy, for jumping in today so people get to know you better.
Thank you.
We will continue this in Branson to inspire more hope, health, and healing in the world. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on The Connection Show. Our show is made possible by your support. Please go to our website and click on the Affiliate Partners page now. You can support us either on Venmo or our Cash App today. We love our podcast guests and our social media subscribers. Our channels are made possible by you, our listeners. Please go to our website and go to our Contact Us page and click on all our social media pages. Make sure you click the bell on YouTube and subscribe, and the follow us button on Rumble. Our affiliate partners are featured on our show, and we thank you for supporting them and their products. Each of them have fabulous offerings with discounts when you mention Braveheart when you order. Please order today by going to braveheartworkshops.com and clicking on Affiliate Partners.